This is the Bat Creek stone. It was found during the course of an official Smithsonian evacuation. The Smithsonian didn't understand the meaning of the writing on the stone. They thought it was Cherokee since it came from Cherokee country. They didn't realize that it's actually Hebrew. They had published this originally upside down. They threw it in a box at the bottom of the Smithsonian, put it in the basement. Many years later, a scholar took it out of the box, looked at it, and went, oh my gosh, it's upside down. It's Phoenician, ancient Hebrew. So what's going on here? What is that about? Where is that history?
Hey, Shalom, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak, Kodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. All right, peace, blessings, and salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth and to the end. All right, and that history is written in the Bible. It's written in the Bible. All right, let's start with 2nd Esdras 13. All right, and this is what it means to know the mystery of the scriptures. All right, when you look at all these other people who are into debate and ever learning, they don't want to admit and they don't want to come to the true knowledge, and they don't want to basically acknowledge facts. All right, Vocab Malone he's in denial. There's too much evidence, there's too much information out that links back to Hebrew customs. All right, the scriptures say that the Israelites are going to be scattered worldwide. It says some other things too, so we're going to get into them. All right, but this is 2nd Esdras 13. All right, this is 13 and 40. Matter of fact, verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceful multitude unto him, and those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. He brought them over into the Assyrian captivity. And this is when our empire was divided up. It said, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. All right, so if they're in the Middle East, and this also, to understand this, you would have to understand who these other nations are and understand where they've been. All right, so you would have to understand the different ancient names of the lands, because in Genesis it gives an account of who was where. And it gives account of the Hamites, okay, the sons of Ham, who they are, where they were. All right, the sons of Japheth, who they are, where they went. Okay, the sons of Shem, who they are and where they went. We know the sons of Ham went into Africa. We know the sons of Japheth went into Europe and different, parts along the Mediterranean. Okay, we know that the sons of Shem were in the Middle East. The sons of Shem were all over the Middle East and into Middle East and Asia. All right, and of course, you had certain of the sons of Ham who went into Philistia as well. All right, so they were into the Middle East too. That's why when the Israelites get to their land, the Philistines are there, the Amorite, all the different sons of Canaan are there. All right, and I've never seen any kind of apologist or Christian scientist or whatever sect of bullshit, slavery, Christianity break that down. I break down the table of nations and which nation each one of those is. All right, and All of those nations are still on the earth until this day. Okay, the only nation that's going to be done away with is going to be the nation of Edom. And then it says, verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And yeah, we know one of the reasons they were removed was because of the evil they were doing, the idolatry and all the other stuff. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. Most of these Christians, they can't even break down Genesis 2, where it gives you the secret location of the garden that's eastward in Eden. They can't break down those different bodies of water. Right? That's how you know who the prophets are. They're going to be able to break down and understand those things for edification's sake, starting with the apostles and elders. All right, it says, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. Then dwelt they there unto the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. All right, so there you go. The highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. Basically, man, it's talking about the so-called Latino and so-called Native American people who were over here, okay, when Cristobal Colon came over here. They were in lands which mankind had never dwelt. That's why back there, all these kings thought that they were taking over the whole world, but that was the known world. But then you have parts over here, which Solomon, he sent navies over here as well, which that's how they knew that this land existed. Hey, you know who the Israelites are, man. These people, an entire nation of people sailed to the other side of the world. That's Jake. You have to have all kind of resources, planning. Only Jake could do some shit like that. All right, they didn't cross the Bering Strait, which means they had to walk across fucking ice for the course of months with women and children. No, they crossed over. They had to go down past the Horn of Africa. Okay, past the Cape of Good Hope. They had to sail all the way around because they had to go through the Middle East, and then they came all the way up, and then they went into the Caribbean, and then from the Caribbean or South America, Central America, all of that stuff. You can sail up the Mississippi River, and you can get into mainland North America. A lot of these so-called Native Americans are really, the really other tribes amongst the 10 tribes as well. That's why the scriptures say, try the spirits. You got a lot, the northern kingdom, so to speak. You got amongst them, you have some of them who think they're Mexican, and they're really Ephraim. They think that they're Ephraim and they're really Zebulon. They think, all these different things. And all that's going to be, fully revealed in this time. All right, but this is another book, which is called Christopher Columbus and his participation, and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. It's another book. All right, because the scriptures say, where's it at? John 10:16, it said, and other sheep But this is how Yahweh Shai speaking, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. All right, just like it says in Ezekiel, basically talks about that stick coming together to form one stick. We're going to be of one nation, of one people. And that's what happened now, man. We're all reunited. All the tribes are reunited. All right, we're not black Hebrew Israelites. Black is a byword that was given to us by these Edomites, which they gave themselves the opposite, being white. And we know that they changed times, they changed laws, they changed the names of places, they changed people. All right, they did all this naming, and Asia, Africa, all these things are named after them. All right, Europa was like a god. Europa was actually, I believe, it was a black goddess, and she's riding a bull or something like that. All right, but all the ancient names and the ancient places and the true names, are all written in the scriptures. And jumping back to this book, because Columbus had people who knew Hebrew with him. I just gotta find a particular spot, Salakia. And interesting thing, it says on August 2nd, 1492, which fell on the same day of mourning for the twofold destruction of Jerusalem, 300,000 Jews, according to some writers, the number was much larger, left Spain to settle in Africa, Turkey, Portugal, Italy, and France. On that ever memorial day, memorable day, they sailed from the harbors of Cartagena, Valencia, Cadiz, Laredo, Barcelona, and Tarragona. On August 2nd, the Spanish Jews began their wanderings, and the next Friday, Columbus with his fleet of 3 ships sailed to seek an ocean route to India. And I'm going to jump through it to the important parts. Because it also tells you, that's the part I want. It says, Luis de Torres, a Jew who had occupied a position under the governor of Murcia and who was baptized shortly before Columbus sailed, which his real name was Cristobal Colon, as he understood Hebrew, Chaldee, and some Arabic, Columbus employed him as an interpreter. Now, why would Columbus bring a Hebrew interpreter over to the Americas, where now, as Glenn Beck has just shown us in the first clip, they found, Hebrew stones, which he had more stones, but I just kind of cut the clip short. But if you looked at it, Glenn Beck, Hebrew, Fox, which he was fired, shortly after. All right, a lot of these Edomites, they're privy to this. They know this information. Then it's another book by James Adair, where he talks about the same thing. He came over, and he was living amongst the Native Americans, which leads you to believe that he was an Israelite as well. He dwelt among them peaceably, and he evaluated them according to the customs of the Bible. And he made the same analysis. Yeah, these people are Israelites. So, the history has been whitewashed, man. This man he's the father of lies. Right? Matter of fact, now this is Baruch 3. The theme is learn where is wisdom. I want to go straight to the point. And talking about wisdom, verse 22, it says, it hath not been heard of in Canaan, neither hath it been seen in Teman. All right, the scriptures talk about the so-called wise men of Teman. All right, we know to be those, the spirit to be those Germans, right? Because those scientists, they were Germans, the ones who created, all the nuclear, all of the different nuclear technology, right? All of the bomb technology. I'll say it like that because they had technology before that. All right, and they went into heavy idolatry and soothsaying and all that stuff. That's how they came up with this technology, which it was ultimately through the hands of the Lord. Right? They're put up to pay the part of the wicked. All right? And they're gonna land on their own sword. Well, their own sword is gonna fall down upon them. Let me say it like that. This is the Hagarenes that seek wisdom upon earth, the merchants of Moran and of Teman, the authors of fables. Yeah, the authors of fables, and these people sit there and they'll know the real history. They have all these old books and all this stuff, which, is now hard to get to, or you try to find the book where it gives an account, gives multiple accounts. And then the book is $600, $700, $1,000, because they've bought all of the books, you know what I'm saying? And then when these people send their children to school, they're going to create their own textbook, revised edition, and they're going to, come up with lies to dumb down and take the heat off of them. All right, the scriptures say that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Right? Hey, the Lord has given us, ultimately, all we need is his word, man, but the Lord has given certain evidence of certain other things as well. Right? He's given certain accounts, like this particular book that we're reading out of. But let's finish. It says, the author of fables and searchers out of understanding, none of these have known the way of wisdom or remember her paths. All right, it says, O Israel, how great is the house of the Most High, and how large is the place of his possession. Great and hath none end, high and unmeasurable. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much power you think you have, how much wisdom. Guess what? The Heavenly Father controls all that. And he's chosen to wake us up, all right, and take wisdom out of you. Because this nation is fallen. This nation is the cash cow, all right, for the house of Esau. And it's fallen. And you guys have had your time and your vacations. Here in Chicago, they're doing all these fucking festivals and all this shit. And then it's my guess that, after once the fall hits, that they're going to make these people put the mask back on. And all our videos were mentioning the monkeypox. And they're probably going to, try to take our videos down when we say monkeypox. Let's see if they take this one down. All right, but back to this book, because it lists Columbus's fleet. It says, when the fleet, whose crew was a very mixed body of men, Spaniards, Moors, and Jews, as well as an Irishman and a Genoese, had so Spaniards, Moors, and Jews. All right, so Jake was even above the fucking crew for Columbus's ships. All right, which, hey, when you look at Egypt, when we left Egypt under the Egyptians and we escaped them, so we had Egyptians with us, because some of those Egyptians were enslaved by their own people. All right, these Idumeans, they're in the way of Egypt. Shit, they've enslaved their own people. All right, so it's not hard to think that you have Israelites who put their own people into, captivity, right? Or they helped Esau. It's happened before. It happens again. When you watch this movie 1492 by Ridley Scott, I think it's the first scene that they actually show you. They show a ship basically sailing off, and the guy's showing his son, like, see, the earth ain't flat, it's round. Then he pulls out an orange and then shows him, the ratio of how the ship just looked. That whole earth was flat shit. That was for idiots. Right? The people who are in the know, who are in the scriptures, we look in the scriptures and say what? The circle of the earth. All right, that's how, hey, if you're doing any kind of advanced construction or engineering or anything like that, then of course you know that there's curvature. All right, you have to know that there's a ratio of the curvature of the earth, which that's what pi is. All right, so they would have to know that. But all right, back to this. This is Hosea 1 and 10. Matter of fact, 1 and 7. Because the whole thing was the Lord had Hosea. In verse 2, it said, the beginning the word of the Lord by Hosea, and the Lord said to Hosea, go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went and took Gomer, blah, 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 jump it down. And then you can see the son. Then said, the Most High call his name, Lo me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. All right, what we said, you're savages, you're Negroes, you're colored, all right, you're beaners and spicks, all these bywords, which that's also predicted by the scriptures. There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. And that's who our people are, man. The true sons of the living power. Matter of fact, let's go to that Hosea 1 and 10. Just to expound. There's a word there, Lo Ami. It said, call his name Lo Ami. Which in the pure Hebrew, not this, because there is no O in Hebrew. That's La'ah. Was it Maya? La'ah, Maya. La'ah means not. Let's see. Ima means nation, people. So Ima with the Ya at the end, that means my nation, my people. So you're not my people. All right, so that was an insult. And that's exactly why we were given into the hands of this damn devil. I'm going to read a little more. Okay. You do your lesson, of course, Okay. Yeah, back to it though. This is the main point, to tie in with the whole Hebrew thing. The apostle just brought it out too, about these, Russia, all these different places with Hebrew name, Brazil. Right, the original language is Hebrew. All right, it says the land was Watling's Island, or perhaps Ackland Island. The natives call it Guanahani. This is once they arrive, of course. We are told that it was given this name by the Spanish Jews on board the Pinta, and Guanahani is even said to be formed from Hebrew words. A professor of the Oriental languages in Tacubaya, who comes from Mahon on the island of Minorca, and who is called Isaac Abravanel, his ancestor, claims to have been led to this etymological discovery, so they're into etymology too, by a Spanish ballad which he asserts he received from Spanish Jews in Barbary. And Barbary is in North Africa. And there you had our people on the scenes in North Africa, in Spain, okay, different parts of Europe too. All right, but this is the beginning of the destruction of our people. I'm gonna read a little more. According to this ballad, in which there's a sprinkling of Hebrew and Arabic words, as soon as Rodrigo de Triana saw land, and this account is based on actual journals that were written in different records. As soon as Rodrigo de Triana saw land, he uttered a little Hebrew word, I, to one of his Jewish comrades.